Call the meeting to order. Roll call, please, Terry.
Brennan.
Here.
Chartran.
Here.
Dahlhoff.
Here.
Hathaway.
Here.
King.
Here.
Colzer.
Here.
Mowerhand. Here. Mosier.
Here.
Fawcett.
Here.
Tabo.
Here. For everyone to stand, we'll have an invitation. Heavenly Father, we give you praise for granting us a beautiful day. We ask that you grant us wisdom as we proceed to go ahead with our meeting. And we pray that you will always watch over and guide the people that are involved in the main decisions and those that are affected by them. We pray for the world peace in our country. Amen. Pledge to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All legislators should have got a copy of the May 3rd and May 16 meeting minutes. Does anyone have any corrections at this time? If not, the minutes stand approved. Report of the Rules and Legislation Committee for Rule 6. Terry.
The Rules and Legislation Committee has met and they recommend to waive the rules to act upon late resolutions this evening.
Moved by Jerry, second by Larry. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. At this time, we'll open our public hearing for comments on proposed addition of county-owned reforested lands and private off-road properties to the Lewis County ATV trail system. So therefore, do we have any comments from the public at this time? Tom Biner?
Are they gonna open up anything other than for the Lewis County Trail System is one question. And the second question is I was wondering if Jackie heard anything on maybe the weight limit that it's really not to do with the trail system that they're presently talking about, sorry. But are they gonna do about the weight limit? Have they heard anything on that
That's
for the state?
the state, and we haven't heard any more if it's gone through. Hasn't made it to December, has it?
No, it's talked about more frequently than ever before, and there seems to be a momentum there, but it still hasn't been completed yet, so I can't tell you when it would happen. And the first question, are you able to answer that, Jackie?
We're continuing to work on expanding the ATV system, but as part of the improvement system,
You're talking
the Lewis County
the
system.
Lewis County Trail System itself.
Yes.
Okay, any other comments on the public hearing at this time?
Sorry to keep
Another-
asking so many questions.
Another,
That's something entirely different, the radio system for the EMS fire towers. I
do
guess
that under privilege of the floor then?
that later.
So, under the public hearing, do we have any other comments regarding the local laws? Okay, we'll move on to privilege of the floor, and I do have two that requested it, so I'll go to them first. Rick Bush is here to talk about volunteer firefighters. Rick,
Yep.
you're on.
I'd like to, I'm right here to represent the Lovell Volunteer Fire Department and hopefully the rest of the volunteer fire departments. And the radio system that has been put in place is very sad, very sad. I am very disappointed. We had a call at the fire hall last night, we were all there for a meeting. We had to wait for a text message on our phone before we could respond because we couldn't understand. There's so much static on the system. It's not state of the art. This is 2016. That's something that was in the 30s. I'm sorry, that's just the way I feel. And I can play something for you if you want to hear it. This is the terrible.
is this on the plectrons only, or is this across the spectrum on all the radios?
That's on everything.
The truck radios don't seem to do that too much.
Not as bad, not as bad. It's there, but it's
They work
terrible.
They're still doing finer tweaks. I do agree with that is very bad. We are working on trying to get it up. E.F. Johnson's doing the final stages, and I do apologize for that coverage. It should be a lot better.
Yes, it should.
And
Well, I am sorry that the
No,
amount of money you guys have paid for this system, or paying
It's-
for it.
what you said is fair. We've been going through this, you know, trying to get it up where it's supposed to be. I know it's capable of doing it. It's just the tweaking and stuff that goes with it. Where people are coming in the 20th to do the final tweaking. Paging, we've been borderline since November last year.
Yes.
So it needs to be taken care of.
Tom, you were asking for privilege of floor regarding this subject, so I guess I should let
Same
you go.
thing. And this is not just Lovell, he's correct. This is, I've talked to people from Glenfield, which is in the southern zone. Lowville, New Bremen, Beaver Falls, and Krogan. I've had the chance to talk to some of them people as well. This is not just a couple of departments, it's not just one area. That's exactly what you heard is what pretty much every one of them are hearing on the pagers. The radio system as a whole is worthless if we can't hear the call and know what the call is to even respond to. We have no way of knowing what it is. And it's,
No,
and that we keep hearing, we do keep hearing the tweaking part, and I'm not trying to contradict what you're saying, but how much tweaking has to be done to get even the pagers to work right? I mean, does that even sound right, to have to tweak that long for a
Well-
multi-million-dollar system?
You know, I'll be honest with you, it's over my head, the technology and stuff involved. I'm not gonna make any excuses. We've been at it as far as I'm concerned, not because you're here, as far as too long to get these problems solved. I'm positive they will be solved in the near future. We have good days and we have bad. Whether it's something to do with the timing system, we had problems in February. We found there was a repeater that had gone bad, which has a tendency to monkey stuff up, throw us to another channel. But no, they definitely got to be a lot better than they are.
Oops, I'm sorry, go ahead, Fred.
I was just gonna ask, did we have a holdback on that?
Yep.
So we haven't in any way paid them for what they,
No.
I guess that's our only caveat.
Well, I got one more question in regards to that, as well as probably more questions. What is the holdback? Is that holdback, they don't get paid anything? They don't get paid $1 million? They don't get paid $11 million?
We've done milestones all the way through, and it's close to $250,000.
What they've paid so far?
No, what they were holding back.
So they paid over 10 million, basically? Wow.
Well, as you put stuff in today's thing, you meet milestones which you pay for. What we weren't able to go live, and I'm not making excuses, I'm just explaining to you what happens and stuff, and we've been hearing the reports and stuff, and we appreciate them, because if we don't hear from the fire departments and stuff, they're having a problem, or the sheriff's department, we can't track these down. What there is their guarantee with it that, you know, if it doesn't work, they've got to do extensive stuff to make it work, whether it's more towers or whatever else.
At their cost?
Yes, but the problem is that we didn't make our coverage testing last year because the leaves were off the trees. And I think one of the problems is, and we should have been pushing harder or probably trying to get their attention, is the fact of, I'm not sure when they knew they had time, they did the due diligence they should, and it's been intermittent, it's not all the time. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on your pager.
It's all the time.
That interference has been all the time?
pretty much, I don't know if I've actually ever heard it where it's been clear the way it should be.
But, okay, but that's, you know, we're still working on it. I don't have any excuses. It will be working and working the right way.
The pagers will also, I've heard rumor that they're talking about going back to a high band or something, is that correct? Another frequency or another band to get the pagers to work, is that correct?
It's just our neighboring agencies.
Yes.
I think that's what you're hearing.
The
It's about the
VHF.
neighboring
For
agencies
VFH,
going back to the VHF.
we're not.
Well,
we're-
we had a setup at ours for VHF high, and we had our own repeater down by Bellers, and that did work good. But the point being that might have worked good for us, but what the county is paid for is these pagers to work like the radios, that you can be anywhere basically in the county, and they should be able to receive anywhere in the county, just like the portables and just like the trucks,
There should be quality voice on them,
all over the county.
yeah.
I mean, and you're not gonna have that if you go back to VHF like what we got. You won't have that.
Well, that's what these pages are, is VHF.
But they're a different band, aren't they, I believe?
They're, you were low band before. These are VFH, and the reason we went to VFH instead of UFH, they just longer distance with a signal and stuff. But I will, if you want to talk after the meeting, I'll be glad to talk to both of you.
Yeah, we just don't, we want to make sure that they get what they are supposed to get,
Yep.
and the county doesn't have to pay any more money.
Yep.
And we shouldn't have to wait until we're all dead and gone.
I know. But I appreciate the comments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, could I just make one?
Yeah, go ahead, Liz.
It's really important that you tell your colleagues that if they have problems, they need to be calling dispatch and Cheryl Lalonde, because I know it's to the point where everybody's thinking, I'm just, got all these problems, but if we don't know what the problems are, we can't solve them.
We've been faxing our complaints, and
Okay.
we've had a
If
few
you
of them
can
that we faxed.
circulate that message, it's really important that we get that information.
We were told that we would all go through the fire advisory board.
Okay, if you've been told what the proper channels are, then use that. We just need to make sure people are not just sitting back and complaining about it. We need to get the information so we know what we have to solve. E.F. Johnson needs to solve.
We need to make sure that also gets passed up to you guys and girls.
It's,
Because you people are the ones making the decision on this system.
Right.
And if you don't know it, and if they don't pass that back up to you,
no, we know it,
okay,
we know it.
thank you.
Jerry has been very much involved in this right from the get-go. I mean, he's getting reports from Bob McKenzie right along, the fire advisory board. So Jerry's put his life and soul into this project. Jerry reports to us, because we're all hearing complaints. I'm a fireman also now. Rick, my pager, I don't get it all the time. Mine's intermittent when it doesn't work. When I get static over in Croghan, it's not all the time like that. But we sit here, we're a group of legislators. We're very concerned about the money end of it and to make sure we're getting the bang for the buck. So believe me, I'll speak for myself, I'm not gonna speak for everyone else. We're gonna make sure that we're getting our bang for the buck. It might take 6 months, we don't know. We don't have that we're not that technologically advanced to understand the system. That's why we had to hire someone like E.F. Johnson to do it, so.
Can I just ask, I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep asking questions, but I would like to say that I would hope that the county would not give them one more red cent. If they only got about $250,000 left, they don't get one more red cent until this is completely straight. Because otherwise, next thing you know, if you do, and that money is given to them, now you gotta have your attorneys fight to get it back.
We're aware of that. We have a great attorney here that keeps us abreast.
That's good.
Dan, did you have a comment on this subject?
Yes, do you have a performance bond?
A what?
A performance bond, where if they don't meet certain criteria, you have a bond against the job.
We do.
All right. We'll move on for privilege of the floor. We were privileged to have with us this evening two amazing young ladies that have really stood out and represented our area quite well recently. Camille Ledoux is with us. She is now the New York State FFA president, And with her is Leslie Octor. Leslie is the Regional 6 District President, and I've asked them both to come here this evening. I thought it was very fitting, being that June is Dairy Month, and I can't recall this county ever really recognizing that event. So, Camille, if you have something to say this evening, I'm glad to share your thoughts here at the floor.
Thank you. As you are driving through the countryside of Lewis County, the most typical sights to be seen are dairy barns and black and white cows. We are lucky enough to live in a rural area that is home to a thriving dairy industry. When you think about it, milk is pretty much the lifeblood of Lewis County. Since June is Dairy Month, I have a few facts that I would like to share with all of you. Did you know that Lewis County ranks 6th in dairy production for the entire state of New York? The milk produced by the 383 dairy farms in our county provides revenue and a traditional way of life for farmers, while also contributing to the variety of healthy food products that are available to consumers. The FFA is proud to support all farmers, and members are always excited to advocate for dairy because it's one of New York State's top agricultural commodities. Whether we are showing cows, participating in the dairy foods contest, or simply enjoying ice cream, New York FFA members are proud to live in one of the dairy production states in the Northeast. We appreciate the support that FFA receives from county legislators, agricultural organizations, and agribusinesses. Without the support, FFA could not advocate for agriculture to those who are not familiar with it. We cherish the opportunity to be involved in our local community and advocate for agriculture wherever we go. Thank you.
You use the term proud a lot, and we're very proud of you too.
Thank you.
As I mentioned, they both come from Beaver River School and residents of
District 1, Mike.
Good catch.
Does anyone else have anything for privilege of the floor at this time? Okay, we'll move on to presentation of communications and notices. Oh, sorry, Donna, you had something?
Yes, I just wanted to give a slight update with the village aspect of life. First, I would like to thank some of our legislators who've attended a few of our meetings. We are obviously under a little bit of stress in the village with the continued attention to our wastewater treatment plant system. I just really wanted to give you an overview of, well, you all know where we started with a huge, huge project. That has changed twice since then due to change in direction as to what we will be receiving as our waste stream. We have broken our next steps down to a phase 1, which is something that immediately needs to happen, and a phase 2, which is something that we may need to look at for a year or two from now, but something that we can not necessarily rush through and make sure we're making the right decisions for the future of our system to be able to handle what we will be handling in the very near future, as well as not being completely tapped out with our ability to accept more waste. So at our board meeting last Wednesday, we did make the decision to continue with phase 1 of our treatment plant, which is adding more aeration to our system. We still don't entirely know how we are planning on funding this $4 million advancement. We as the board are trying to decide, I guess, make very hard decisions as to whether this is for a single entity or for a village purpose, because we are really fine how we are right now. And just dividing things up, how we would typically do it for what we plan as a village board see is definitely partially our responsibility. No, sorry, I'm trying not to give too many details here. Too many specifics.
It's working.
I'm sorry? Are you following along now? Am I doing okay? But to date, did we authorize another payment at our last board meeting? I believe we are very close to the $1 million mark of spending money for engineering services, mainly just engineering services, surveying, so on and so forth. So we really just wanted to come and let you know that we have not forgotten to update you. We honestly have had a road that we don't necessarily know where we're headed at times. And that we do obviously take responsibility for this improvement as the village board. And realize what an important impact expansion in our Lewis County is for the entire county. So I really just wanted to come and let you know that I do thank some of you for attending. I know it was a little stressful at times, and I apologize. But we are really trying to make heads and tails out of what we've been handed. And last week, Wednesday morning, we had another change. So we're just going to keep smiling, and hopefully when we really know what exactly we're doing, we can come to you and have your support with that project. You know that probably isn't exactly what you want to hear, but do you have any questions? Do you have anything to add? Yeah.
Well, thank you for the update on it. I'm sure you'll keep us posted.
I'll say, and I apologize for the delay in between, but we've been
I understand.
on a road I didn't know existed. Thank you.
Sir, I got one more thing,
Don?
very briefly. I know Climax is closed. I worked up there for 30-some years. I know different times the county's been talking about office space, and I've heard rumor that they're talking about doing something with the county highway department. If they are talking about that, or if they think they're gonna be talking about it somewhat in the future, I think Climax would be a good place for it, if they can get it at the right price. The warehouse is way more space than they'd even need for the county highway department. There's multiple offices in there, and plenty of space, there's 4 offices in there. It might be a lot cheaper for the county, if they're looking for that, to use that, especially if they can pick it up at a cheap enough price in the future. You probably have already been thinking about it, but if you haven't, I wanted to make sure that you would give it thought.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Anyone else for comments of privilege of the floor? Again? Okay, I think we can move on. Presentation of publications and notices, Derek.
The board acknowledges receipt of resolutions adopted by the following county legislatures: Cattaraugus and Herkimer counties urging adoption of Defense Mandate Relief Act and endorsing the state's responsibility to fully fund all county public defense programs, and endorsing the New York State Office of Indigent Legal Services criteria and procedures for determining assigned counsel eligibility. From the Delaware County urging the governor and state legislature to commit to their promise and address unfunded mandates. From Broome and Herkimer counties calling upon the state legislature to increase the share of revenue counties retain for providing state DMV services. From Broome, Shenango, Essex, Herkimer, Seneca, and Tioga counties calling on the state legislature to fully reimburse counties for district attorney salary increases set by the state. From Delaware County opposing proposed state legislation requiring the payment of prevailing wages and supplements for all projects financed in whole or in part with funds, subsidies, or tax exemptions provided by state or local public authority. Senators Joseph Grifo and John Flanagan acknowledged receipt of the board's resolution urging the state budget amendment to assume the additional DA salary cost. The New York State Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation informed they will consider the old Lowell Cemetery on Jackson Street for nomination to the National and State Registers of Historic Places, and that the Talcottville Common School Number 2 has been placed on the National and State Registers of Historic Places. That concludes correspondence.
Thank you, Terry. And now again, reports of county officers and departments, Terry.
All legislators have received copies of the 2015 Lewis County General Hospital Annual Report, the Treasurer's May Report, the May 23rd Solid Waste and May 25th Highway Audit Reports, and the minutes of the April 12 and May 10 Soil and Water Conservation District Board of Directors meetings. And that concludes the report.
Thank you, Terry. Reports of standing committees. Bill, you're up.
Thank you. I have a somewhat brief report, and I have a motion, and I have a rant.
In that order.
We'll do that in that order, yeah. Everybody, all the departments report to us, their budgets are okay. There were a couple of glitches, one in the sale of properties and one with additional salt, but we feel like that is manageable. We continue to discuss DMV, as you saw in your minutes, and Liz will expand on that a little bit more. With the IQS system, as I reported before, we had a considerable discussion with some attorneys that were somewhat frustrated by our action on that. We sent them a letter and indicating that we are convinced that we felt like it was a good thing to do, but we did say that we would review it in 6 months. We have been in contact with the state about CDL testing, and because they're changing the rules on it, so we're working with the town to maybe have acceptable solution to that, excuse me. And the highway garage, under the sign shop, we determined that it would be best to do a temporary solution. We got an extremely high quote to sandblast the beams that I was telling you about before. So we're going to encapsulate it with plywood and monitor a pier that has degraded to some extent, not really bad. We talked solar again. When we get to that resolution, I'll recap the numbers for you. Excuse me. The DSS lot, the retention pond is still a problem, and the engineer has recommended a fix for it. This has every possibility of becoming an issue for us. Liz updated us on her budget activities, and I'm sure she'll get into more of that. That is my report. My motion is to hire Clark, Patterson, and Lee to do a study at the PSB, a water study, to ensure that we have proper pressure going to our systems up there. They've given us a proposal for $2,500, and I would like to make a motion that we engage them to do that. Joan says it's proper because it's professional service, and we have received indications before. One person was $10,000, another person was $3,000, and these people that we're recommending we hire are the same ones that are doing the water study in the southern part of the county. So we're confident in them, and we would like to hire them to do it for the PSB. That is a motion.
Moved by Phil, second by Dick. Questions?
I'll second it if Phil would add one word, pressure and volume, so we got both.
Pressure and volume, done, Dick.
Okay, moved by Phil, second by Dick. Any questions, comments? What was the cost again? Phil?
2,500.
2,500.
Down from 10,000.
Sounds good. Any other comments? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Now for the rant.
Rocky?
Pardon me?
I moved on too late.
As Mike indicated at our last meeting, we being the county, was approached by the Hudson River, Black River Regulating District to come and talk to us about a situation they had. And they came and talked to us, and I would preface my remarks by saying they're all good guys, they're good people. The crux of what they wanted to talk about was they lost a lawsuit with National Grid. Now this lawsuit we didn't know anything about, but they lost a lawsuit with National Grid that affected their assessment on undeveloped properties along the Black River Regulating District. That had the effect of lowering the assessments, thereby lowering their revenues. And now they are endeavoring to charge Lewis County, Jefferson County, and Herkimer County for that lost revenue. They indicated to us our share might be, and this was a guess because they haven't done their budget yet. They do a 3-year budget and it's due for 16, 17, and 18. But they said that our potential would be $40,000. As Liz has told us, our salary cap is probably no more than $37,000, so this would take the whole cap, and it's probably less than that. They said they would keep it as low as possible and maybe even do it on a gradual basis. Now, my problem with all this is, I guess maybe I had heard of these people before. I can't say that I didn't, but I had no clue what they do. And I still don't really know what they do, to be honest with you, even after an hour and a half meeting. We had no one on their board. We had no input on anything. We didn't know anything about the lawsuit, or maybe we might have joined it to avoid this $40,000 annual increase that we're potentially faced with. But we don't have any input on anything. Their budget is about $6.3 million. 42% of that is for their salaries. They say they got 23 people, and the $2.7 million of their budget is the salaries and benefits associated with the salaries. So obviously they're a little top heavy. When you add in the other overhead items, computers, all that kind of stuff, it becomes 55% of their budget. So it's kind of like there's people sitting in appearance-wise, people sitting in an office and not doing because the majority of their revenues are on their assessments and a little from the dam revenues. Those are literally dams, not I didn't cost it. Don't look at me like that. But in spite of them, they're saying that they're a state authority. I cannot possibly see how this is constitutional that they can charge us $40,000 or whatever they charge us, even if it was $16, that it is proper and constitutional for them to be able to do that. And it's very frustrating. I told them in the meeting, I said, we have a name for this. It's called unfunded mandate. But this is even far beyond an unfunded mandate when you don't even know about these people, hardly. I think Liz's comment was sue them, and I think my comment would be changing that first word a little bit. But anyway, that's my rant. I wanted to update you on what that meeting was all about, and I would advocate that we that we resist paying them anything.
Larry,
So Phil, what service do they provide for the county per se? I think I vaguely understand what they do for hydro facilities and water flow, but what do they provide to the county as a service, and what gives them the legal ability to tax us at all?
I can't answer the first part of your question. I don't know what they provide to us, and it wasn't adequately described.
Frank, don't they regulate the flow of water in the
Yeah,
streams
the
downstream?
regulating district, they regulate the black and the beaver, which in turn, provides water to the various hydros. So that's pretty much what the regulating district does. They regulate the flow of water through those tributaries and into the various systems. As far as what we understood through that conversation that we had with them is that their change in process was because they have all these capital projects that they've been putting off for quite a few years that now they're required to complete. And I guess part of that lawsuit required that, and then now they've got to come up with these additional funds in order to do this, and that's through that assessment process that they're, according to them, their regulations allow them to do. It's within their regulatory criteria.
So basically what you just said, because of their negligence in the past, they've got to correct it now, and we're helping with that.
Based on the conversation that we had, that's what it was. It was their capital improvements that they needed to do. They had been putting off a lot of their, and part of those capital improvements, I think one of the examples was, some of the dams that they have, some of the earthen dams may need to be updated.
But in our district though, Frank, what do they own for assets at dams? Stillwater, correct? Would that be theirs?
Stillwater was one of them,
but everything below Stillwater is all owned by Brookfield, isn't it?
No, Brookfield is the generator, and they do own the properties, but they don't own the
own
water.
Oh, right, I understand.
The regulating district, yeah, but the regulating district, my understanding of it, the regulating district allows that water to flow at whatever
Right.
volumes are necessary based
They own
on
the
need.
flow of the water.
Right, on the need.
But now on that end, they're asking us for money. Now, aren't we with our new system we have on the Beaver River, Black River, haven't they contacted you to see if they can use some of our information that we're getting from our levels of our river?
Yes.
Aren't they? So, and are we charging them for that?
No.
Good point, no. So there's their $40,000 right there.
Tit for tat.
Coincidentally, I talked with the Jefferson County Supervisor Chairman today, and he said he was meeting with him this afternoon, and he didn't know what it was all about, but I warned him, and he got quite upset. Not as bad as Phil, but he got quite upset. And he suggested that their attorney and our attorney get together just to see if they were doing, what they're doing is legit.
One thing that at some point in time, maybe not right now because of our resistance to their efforts here, but at some point in time, I think it'd be good for Mike Taybault to be on that board.
Or he can appoint someone as well.
Right.
Someone, I think
You
would be
don't like me now, why would you want me on the board thinking?
I think you would be the best person, obviously, but yes, if this is gonna continue, it would be nice to have representation on the board so we at least know what's going on. But the new operations guy that was sitting next to me, he said, we've got a real vacuum here in telling you guys what we do. I said, yeah, we surely do. And he could see it. I mean, he was new and he could see the problem there. But anyway, at some point in time after we get through all this, I think it'd be advantageous to get someone on that board.
And I did just receive an email yesterday asking if there was interest here. So,
Jerry or Liz, is there anything you guys want to add to that?
No, I think you did an excellent job.
Did you disagree with anything I said, Jerry?
No, I did not. I just glad we only put 2 logs under you to get you going.
It's been a long time since I've had a rant, Jerry. Jeez.
Yeah, well, you said everything the way I believe. You know, it was just kind of a slap in the face again.
Liz? Nothing to add?
okay. Can we move on?
You're tough to follow.
Rocky.
Anyway,
Service?
an update of things happening in the Department of Social Services. The Point in Time study has been released by the Points North Housing Coalition. As required by HUD, Lewis County participated in a count of homeless individuals on January 26th. This is a nationwide attempt at counting homeless people. 35 persons were reported as homeless on the night of January 26th. All were sheltered. For the week of the study, 18 persons reported chronically homeless. 4 reported they were unsheltered at some point during that week. DSS, in partnership with Pratt Northam Foundation, will be kicking off the PINS Diversion Summer Program. The Pratt interns will start on June 20th. They will create the summer plan that includes community service, recreation, and education for identified youth. The kids will start on July 5th with 15 children rostered to begin the program. On June 10th, Lewis County DSS joined the Lewis County General Hospital and other community partner agencies for a work group focused on care coordination initiative to better identify and work towards the DSRIP goals of reducing inpatient readmission rates. Both Adult Protective Services and the Personal Care Program units participated in this meeting. And I do have a motion that I'd like to make. Motion to authorize filling a temporary full-time social welfare examiner position due to the promotion of current employee effective immediately.
Moved by Rocky, second by Andrea. Discussion. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
An update from the Office of the Aging. 2016 Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. Major program eligibility change. In past years, distribution of farmers market coupon booklets was limited to 1 booklet per household, regardless of the number of eligible older adults that reside there. This year, each older adult in a household is eligible to receive a booklet if they meet the age 60 plus and income requirements. Lewis County will receive 500 coupon booklets valued at $20 per booklet for a total of $10,000 going back into the local economy. Coupons to arrive soon and can be issued through September 30th. Senior Citizens Day at Lewis County Fair, Thursday, July 21st. Awaiting confirmation from Fort Drum 10th Mountain Division Band to lead opening ceremonies and perform. Alan Beatrice Band will perform from 11 a.m. to 12, and Nelson Brothers are slated to close the day's entertainment from 12:30 to 3:30. And that's it for Office of Aging. Youth Bureau. 2016 county project funding, $5,000 was available. At the Youth Bureau's May 18th meeting, the board reviewed 10 applications that were received for the 2016 county projects funds. The total amount of funds requested was $12,481.42. The board was able to ask questions they had pertaining to applications received as the applicants were invited to attend the meeting. The following were awarded 2016 county project funding. Harrisville Free Library, Summer Reading Program, $250. Lewis County 4-H Teen Council Program, $250. Village of Fort Leyden, Sports Equipment for Park, $250. Pop Warner cheerleading program, cheerleading mat, $800. Constable Volunteer Fire Department, RAM, restricted active members who are youth, protective clothing, $1,000. Harrisville Central School, character education program and fall festival, $655. Boy, you're doing all right.
Yeah.
Village of Krogan, solo and expression, swing and frame for youth interaction, $1,795. The Lewis County Youth Bureau thanks the Lewis County Board of Legislators for their support in allocating $5,000 in 2016 county youth project funds that was used to help support the above youth projects. And that's done with my report. I have no rants.
Very good, Rocky. Ryan, county officers, veterans, junkyard, HR.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the HR end of it, and I've never shared any of this information before, but what we get is a vacancy report every month, and I don't think you guys get that with our minutes. So just year to date, we've had 49 vacancies. We have 15 current vacancies, and 34 have been filled year to date. That doesn't include the hospital. So that's just the county and sheriffs and corrections. Right now, to give you an idea, some of the positions, not specific positions, but full-time, part-time, we have 2 part-time positions that are being filled currently with applications, 2 full-time temp positions, 6 full-time positions, and 1 part-time temp. So that's all on the IHR end, except for the different motions. Rocky filled one of them positions with a motion. I don't know if there's any more. I don't think there's any other vacancies we're approving tonight. So on the junkyard end, Joan is diligently working on one issue with gas lines and his attorney to close out that, to get that closed out. We have the issues up the West Leiden, 2 of them up there. One, the guy just keeps rotating junk up there. Correct, Jerry? And the other one is still in a battle with the court system because of the stunt he pulled down in Jefferson County. All the other junkyards, we haven't had any trouble getting them relicensed or anything. Ward has been approaching them with the violations, and they seem to be very receptive to them, and they take care of it. So even the ones like with the derby cars, people can complain about the neighbors. The derby cars, he approaches them, makes them well aware what's going on, and it seems to be working well. So that would be all I have for my report. Veterans will meet here in August. That's every quarter now. So thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Jerry, courts and law.
No, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a couple of resolutions that are late. Be glad to discuss them with you. It was just that they were put together wrong before. And E.F. Johnson will be in the week of the 20th to start changing stuff on the radio system. Get it working better than the paging system the way it should be. So keep you informed as we progress along there. And that's pretty much all I have tonight, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
All right, Jerry. Larry, economic development.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Eric is here to give us a quick update on the Commerce Park and also an awards that we received from the Page Group's effort at the Economic Development Council meeting in Cooperstown. Eric, if you would.
Thank you. Actually, 3 items. I'll add one to what Larry just noted. On our Economic Development Reserve funding, you should receive a report of that in our committee reports. Larry sends those out. I got a couple copies of that if anyone needs them. So we are beginning to use those funds for a couple of projects. If you have any questions on that, I can attempt to answer those. We brought a couple items for you to look at. They're up there. I don't know if they've made their way around the room, but if you can send those around the room, and then I'd like to take those back with me. One is a map of the initial concept for the business park project we are working on. Our engineering consulting firm has done a preliminary design. that is the Climax building. So this is a layout, a preliminary layout of what a business park could look like on that property. We've got a couple revisions we're going to make to that, and then we're going to continue working with that company and moving forward with next steps on that project. Those next steps will involve, first thing, a more detailed proposal on engineering services, permitting, seeker work, all the things that will need to happen next to get to a shovel-ready certification and be ready to move forward to actually build out a park when we are able to do that. We will be seeking, instead of getting a proposal for those services and then seeking grant funds to help us pay for those services. So that is next steps, and that is where we are today.
Who was doing that for you?
We have been using the LaBerge Group, a consulting engineering firm from the Saratoga area. So making some good progress. Again, funding will be one of the important next steps for that. And the other item Larry mentioned, one show and tell item. Thanks to the work that you authorized with the Page Marketing Group out of Utica and our Naturally Lewis campaign, we submitted 3 different items for consideration by the NYSEDC, New York State Economic Development Council. That is the State Association of Economic Development Agencies and IDAs. They do annual awards for marketing, and we submitted 3 items. We were awarded Best of Class, which is that award for 2 of the items we submitted, and honorable mention for the 3rd. So that was a great recognition, I think, for that Naturally Lewis campaign. Excited about it and excited that it got that statewide recognition. So.
Eric, you might also mention it was Naturally Lewis was actually used by one of our corporations here in the community. Am I correct?
Where did you see it?
Well, on Sunday, I was told about it. I did not personally see it, that it took up half a page on a presentation by Heinz Pratt.
Correct, and that is a step that's exactly the type of activity that we want. One of the things we want to be doing with that to really spread it around. And we can do everything we can to spread it around, but if we get our businesses, our organizations to assist us with that. So that was great that they did that, and we will be more active in getting it out there ourselves so our companies can do that.
It's very impressive because I was there with Eric when we were given these awards. And, you know, when you think about it, this is little Lewis County versus every other county in New York State. And to come in #1 is quite exceptional.
And to see fruits of that labor.
Yeah.
Where a company picks it up without being enticed to do so and uses it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for your support to move that
Thank you,
forward.
Eric.
Thank you, Eric. A couple other things. There's going to be a Regional Economic Development Council public forum held at Kroger Lincoln Museum on June 20th at 5:30. If anyone would like to go to that, we had a great turnout last year when we held one there. And if you would like to go, they're requesting that you register, and if you contact the clerk's office, they can provide you the link to do that. Only other thing I have is a motion to award the bid and authorize the purchase of a 12-ton tag trailer in the amount of $15,534 from Tracy Road Equipment of Adams, New York, for the Recreation, Forestry, and Parks Department. So I'll make that motion.
Moved by Larry, second by Craig. Discussion, comments?
What was that gonna be used for?
Was it put out to bid?
Put out the bid, they didn't receive any bids, this is,
So they put it in the paper for
yeah,
weeks and 10 days?
it was advertised.
Yeah. This falls underneath the new, what bid system? The procurement system, Tracy's a part of that. Well, it did though, we didn't get anything.
She didn't get one bid.
Any other questions, comments? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And that's the end of my report, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Craig, taxation, elections, IT.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll start out with Adam and IT. Adam attended the IT directors meeting in Saratoga in May, and the theme of the meeting was on cybersecurity. And interesting enough, we've recently been looking at or been had proposals for insurance for just such a problem if we were to get hacked. And the thing that, and Adam, correct me where I'm wrong at any point, the thing that Adam took away from that meeting was that even when there has been a claim with those counties that have had the insurance, it has been less than adequate in satisfying those claims. And I think it's a consensus of the committee anyway, or to speak for myself, that Adam has done more than adequate a job to protect our system, so we might look long and hard before we contract any insurance going forward. He's also been working on a website with a goal of have it up and running by September 1st, and he's well into that, and hopefully we'll reach that goal. And he's suggesting we use SDG, which is an acronym for Systems Development Group. It's kind of a web management site to help us with real property tax maps and the distribution of those to needed parties and charging fees where appropriate for that service, and he's coordinating that with Candy. And I have nothing else for Adam. Adam, have you got anything to add? Thank you, Adam. And for taxation, first off, I want to recognize and commend Candy Atkin, our director, for aggressively going after all the certifications that she has needed to perform her job. She just most recently completed 2 more, one in late May and one in early June. The ethics basics, and the one in May was county director orientation, which leaves her just a few more courses that she needs to take to be fully certified to do the job. So she's to be commended. Sometimes this takes up to 2 years. In talking with her, she's also working, as I indicated with Adam, on this website and to make our tax maps more accessible to the general public. And this company that I mentioned has 2 tiers that they offer. One is public access, which is totally free. And the second one is a sign-in tier. And that one there's a fee for it. The biggest difference between the 2 tiers is the sign-in tier is updated on a regular basis. The public tier is only updated probably twice a year. So the sign-in tier is one that is used to charge where we normally would charge when people come in to get a map, we charge them here locally. This will be done, the capability will be there to do it over the internet. They will manage it, and then we're negotiating the fees on that, so we aren't at that point yet. And hopefully it'll offset the costs that we've had ongoing. Currently, she's at 60% of her budget for map sales, so she's doing a good job with that, and she will make sure that this company meets that criteria or beats it. And her current budget is on target, and that's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Katie. Greg, transportation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to open it right up with the a motion. Highways, we opened bids for a 2017 tandem plow truck, the Viking plow, and we came in with $226,580 as the low bid. It's going to have Viking Cities Inc. MO, so I'd like to make a motion that we award that bid.
Moved by Greg, second by Jerry. Discussion? Greg.
Yeah, that wasn't the low bid, right? That's a bid that we chose to accept because it met all the qualifications. The other bid didn't. Is that correct? The other bid was 10 grand less, if I'm not mistaken?
It was possibly about 10,000 less, yeah, about. And that plow did not meet all the qualifications that we needed. That's why we accepted this bid with a Viking plow. It didn't meet the specifications that were required by the bid.
Okay, but I do recall that David mentioned that
He did,
in
he
talking
did.
with the bidding company, the low bid, that they would make their product meet those qualifications. And there was some question about that.
They put a bid in, and the bid was lower, but it didn't meet the qualifications that were required under our bid. So their bid, they can't rebid after they've already bid. They've provided, it didn't meet the standards that we requested, so that bid then was thrown out, basically. So we have a Viking plow going on this truck.
Okay, could I get, David, you're in the house, can you help me explain how that works, how they differ? I know it was a $10,000 better price by one company, and that there were some concerns about that product, but I think you indicated in your emails to me that they were willing to make sure that the steel met the qualifications, blah, blah, blah.
The steel, most of the steel was gonna meet the qualifications. The mold boards on the bottom of the wings weren't going to meet it, and the pumps running the auger chain, they were gonna have one pump versus two, so they didn't meet it in that way either. So there was a couple places they did not meet it and could not meet it.
So just like I said, Craig, it didn't meet the specifications required. And that's why David chose to go with the Viking plow on this international truck.
Okay.
That was pretty clear in the email.
Let me just add something to that, because I did have discussion with the superintendent as well. In addition to those differences in the qualifications, there are other plows are also Viking plows, and so there's a history that the department has with the longevity of those machines, and that's part of the steel analysis, I think, that Dave did. That's number one. Number two, it's a local company, and so in terms of the ability to evaluate these bids and consider best value, that was also a factor in making that decision.
There's other factors also included in that decision too, Craig. We don't know how long it would take to get parts for that other type of plow. It's made in Iowa. They don't necessarily have all the parts in the Watertown area. So maybe the cost of getting those parts shipped here would be even more. When we're talking that we can go over to Harrisville and pick up the parts, you know, we know what we're getting with a Viking plow because we have all the experience, and then we can swap those plows from truck to truck to truck. If there's a problem, we could actually just swap it out to a different truck if we need to, where this other one we couldn't do that with this Henderson plow. So there are quite a few reasons why we didn't go. It was about 10,000 difference, just about.
Well, first off, I want to explain that I'm all about doing local as much as possible. But being the devil's advocate, $10,000 is a substantial difference. So that's why I asked it explained so the public understands why we would go with this one rather than the other one. Thank you.
So did that explain it well
Yes.
enough? Okay, just double checking to make sure.
And what's that price again?
The total price is $226,580.
And is that about what was budgeted or expected?
Yes, that's what he is expecting to pay.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Bill?
I would just make the comment that this is part of his equipment plan, that this would be delivered after the first of the year. But he's doing it now so he can get it after the first of the year, and this is part of his ongoing equipment plan that we've approved the last 2 years through the budget.
Okay. Other comments? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, now, we'll continue on. Dave's also going to be requesting permission in the next month or two for hiring two operators. Because he's got a guy retired, 2 guys retiring. One on the 26th of, I believe, is that May or June? Dave, is it May? June,
There's one that just retired,
Yeah.
and there's another one retiring.
end of July,
Yes.
right? Okay. The shop is all clean, all is good. Let's see, okay, and then, in conversation with Dave, we've used 155,618 gallons of oil for the blacktopping of roads, and at a savings of $96,000 this year. So Dave's doing real well, his budget's on target, and saving quite a bit of money actually in the long run. Hopefully he'll get some more work done. I think that's what you kind of planned, isn't it, Dave? And I do want to commend Dave. Dave's done a wonderful job on getting all this work done and keeping up with all the other processes. So he should be commended for those duties. Then we're going to go to solid waste. Met solid waste. Recycling is up. In fact, I talked to Pete the other day. I saw him in the hallway. He's even up higher. He thinks he's up more close to 50% over what he was getting in. He had an increase of 25 to 30% when he went to clear bags. Dank is very pleased with us doing the clear bags. They're trying to correspond with the Jefferson and St. Lawrence counties to do the same thing. City of Watertown is looking at it. Our single stream process is still in the works. I believe the Bernie Carr has got it figured out, and they're going to be able to drive into the building, unload, and drive right out, out the other end. So it'll make it a lot nicer for the haulers. They'll empty out and be done with. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I think we're going to bring this up. We might as well bring it up here. We were going to bring it up in committee. As far as the signage up there, I think we've gone back and forth, right, Phil, with this signage up there, and I think what we're going to probably end up with is, and I think you agree to this too, Craig, is no firearms, and that's it. Just not say no hunting, just no firearms. Is that how you viewed that too? I mean, we've tossed this around for several months, so I kind of like to get Pete an answer, on that issue up there for hunting.
At committee, I know that I was opposed to posting that land, and I'm still opposed to that. I offered a compromise that maybe we should restrict it to no firearms. I think maybe it should require a public hearing, because we're talking public lands. And if we post that, we're going down a slippery slope. Are we going to post the next piece of property because a guy next door doesn't want people shooting towards his house because he's got children in the yard playing? So I talked with DEC. They know that they are familiar with the property. They believe that it meets all the requirements in New York State to be legal hunting, and I don't think that we should post it unless we have some kind of public hearing.
Dave, you got a comment?
Yeah, it's already posted. Why?
Who posted it?
I don't know, that's why I'm asking the question, but if you go up there and look, I've been all into the.
Really?
The right-hand side, just past that new building, it's posted along 26.
Posted as in what?
There's posters.
No trespassing?
I can't read
no
them from the
hunting?
road. There's big yellow posters that say something. It says posted, and I'm assuming it says.
Is that on our land, Dick?
Yeah, it's that chunk, that swamp.
The one that's
There's
controversial.
posters in there.
Yeah.
Drive up there tonight, you'll see them.
Okay.
And I was gonna ask, because it's not done, in my idea, is right, because it's only a small chunk, and you've got posting rules, as you well know, that you gotta follow, and it isn't posted within those rules. So maybe somebody else posted it for us, I don't know. I didn't get out of my truck, go down and look. But I think those posters ought to come down till we decide, and then it ought to be posted in accordance with the rules and laws.
So, Joan, what's the procedure if we should choose to post it? Is it a board decision or the public hearing? Or
I think it can be a board decision.
with a public, following a public hearing?
I don't know if you need the public hearing, you may choose to do that, I suppose.
My only comment would be that I don't think it's appropriate to say no firearms, because there are people who go to the transfer station who may have firearms and have them legally, and you're now inviting them to violate the law by coming on the property with their firearms. So I think that's going to be a mistake. So maybe we ought to have some further discussion about that.
Well, that's where we have this, that's why we're having this discussion kind of, Joan, is on the April 14th meeting. Discussion was held about the posting of land up there. Pete talked to you in depth and looked at the tax maps and the best idea that we could come up with, because we don't want to post it no trespassing. That's not our intention at all. And the only thing we came up with was no firearm and no hunting. And then we decided possibly that the firearms, because of the way the land lays too. I mean, if you dig through this, which I have actually done some of this homework, the furthest point in width from Route 26 to the back of the line of the property is 890 feet. And if you look from the very furthest point out to a spot where we would have individuals possibly working, is roughly 900 feet from the south side, which would be the Lowville side, I believe. So the property really, from the very back point of the property that we own up there, is 470 feet to where our people work. So I guess that's meets the under 500 feet. And that was done by the taxation department. He did all the ruler marks for me down there. So really, there's not a lot of frontage, and I mean, the frontage is long, but there's not a lot of width in the whole property. It's only 890 feet wide. So I mean, when you get halfway in there, you can't shoot that way, you can't shoot that way.
Where's that other house?
Well, I don't know. This is all I got for a tax map. This is our parcel. I don't care about the other parcels.
Because it's less than 500
Feet there, yeah. So, I mean, really, shouldn't be firing off weapons up there to begin with.
That was one of the points that was brought up, because once we got into this, it became a safety issue as well.
Correct.
And that's why Craig suggested no firearms and still let them use both. But now you're changing your mind again, it sounds like.
No, if you listen to me,
I
said I did say that.
You,
I did say that at the last committee meeting.
and we agree with you.
We also agreed to go up there as a group, as a board, and meet and look at the topographic of the property. We haven't done that.
I don't remember hearing that.
It's in there.
Where?
We agreed at the end to
What
do
month?
that.
What month was that, Craig?
Our last meeting. I didn't take the minutes.
I guess I'm concerned about how we address all our parcels of land if you're signaling out this one though.
And the other thing is, if there is laws on the books by DEC where these people stand in violation of the laws, then report it, and the law enforcement community can take appropriate action if they're hunting within 500 feet of an occupied dwelling, or they're shooting across the highway or from the highway. I don't think it's a good idea to start posting public lands.
And the other concern I have is this all began because of some hunters that are squabbling over hunters' rights.
Yes.
I believe. So.
Hunter's access, I think.
Yeah, it's only been one that I'm aware of.
So I.
Oh, yeah, but they're against each other.
The one that filed the complaint and the one that called all 10 of us.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know about that.
Must've been 9, I didn't get it.
Oh, you didn't get the call?
What, from Larry Bud?
Yeah.
No, I didn't either.
all right, so nobody's proposing any posted at this meeting?
No, we're not.
Okay, so them posters are up there probably.
But I just
should
wanted to open
be-
discussion that's going on.
Yes, I understand.
That's what we need, because it seems that this whole issue gets flip-flopped and then opinions change, and And that's the way it seems to go, because I initially, right here in February, had a conversation with Joan, and basically we cannot post this land without posting all county land. So that's what I took back, and then that wasn't, that seemed to bring up more issues. So I wanted to make sure the whole board was involved.
I think you're bringing it up.
Good idea.
Thanks.
Yeah, Larry?
To Dick's point, if there's posters up there, should we have those taken down until we make a decision?
Well, I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Even if they're not ours.
That's right. If they're on our land, yeah, or county land, not ours. Yeah. Public land.
Greg, any more controversial subjects?
Actually, yes, I do have another controversial subject that I'd like to bring to the table. I've been to several of the village board meetings as they had spoken there, saying the legislators did show up. I believe that, and I've talked to Joan, and I don't know, can this be an open session, Joan, about the
I don't know what you're gonna say, so.
about the water?
You mean about the taxing? I think that really should be an executive session.
Okay, then I'd like to have an executive session at the end of the meeting. Thanks.
Is that it, Greg?
That's it, thank you.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Greg, with the recycling, are they currently are we still doing it the same process that we did, or are we currently sending it down in our 50-yard compactor boxes down to Oneida Herkimer?
We're still sending it down.
We are?
We are sending it to Herkimer, yes.
Okay.
Two loads, where the heck did I have that right?
Oh, no, I don't even know how much. I mean, I was just curious if we were sending it.
10-ton loads of recycling each week to Oneida. What he's doing is, he's compacting it.
Yep.
So
Liz, what is the holdup with burning your car with the design of the new compactor part for that recycling? Why are we dragging our feet on this so much?
Brian, the whole thing was supposed to be up and running April 1st.
Yeah, it was supposed to be up and running in
Last
April.
update Pete gave me, it looks like sometime in September, October.
Why?
I can't give you an answer, I'll find out.
I mean, I understand we're shipping it down right now with the 50-yard compactors, but the efficiency isn't gonna be there unless we get them 70-yard trailers in with the compactors.
Right. I will find out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all set there? Dick, hospital.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. During the public comment session up there, we had a comment from Dr. Shereen Palmer of the Landecker Palmer office and Dr. Howard Menny. They're both private practice providers, and they voiced their concerns to the Board of Managers regarding the recent changes in deductibles and health insurance coverage for the county and hospital employees. I've got to point out that the change was voted on by the plan members in February. They had mistakenly thought it was just this last vote that went on. Additionally, the board president, Mr. Young, reported that they would discuss their concerns and report back to them. I asked him if he would keep Liz informed as well. So I hope.
Dick, we actually, Jim, Patty, a whole bunch of.
You have met, good, okay.
We met,
Yeah.
the deductibles are going to change back, revert back to what they were. So they're basically.
So you have met.
Yes, we've met with Excelis. There's a revision document that Jim sent to the CSEA last week. So now it's just a matter of the logistics of getting the corrected language into Excelis, and then they'll continue to process claims.
Okay, thank you. The Nurses of Distinction dinner was held on May 12th, and Mrs. Kovach, who put this on, thank both the board members of the Board of Managers and Board of Legislators who provided, and our attendance was greatly appreciated. I would encourage all of us that can next year to also attend. It's a very great night for some very, very worthy people of recognition. The 2014 and 15 nursing home IGT monies are still outstanding for a total of $8 million. We're still hopeful to get one or both this year. We're recruiting for a mid-level for South Louis Health Center to work with Dr. Lundberger. The 6.58 Essential Provider Grant is targeted for 2 outstanding bonds to be paid with this grant. So once we get how the state's going to give us the 6.58 million, that will come down here to the county, and the county will repay those 2 bonds as time dictates. It'll be over time. Mr. Hellinger reported there was a gain of $311,712 for the month of April. The year-to-date surplus is $1,130,900. Liability of the county currently totals $3.1 million, and we're continuing to be on target to continue to pay the county all that we owe them. Value-based payment quality improvement program will give us $5.5 million over 5 years starting July 2017. The SNF occupancy rate for the month of April was 90.1% versus a budget of 93%, but I must point out that this is above the 70-some% that it was a while back. So we seem to be getting the census and the skilled nursing facility under control. There was a total of 992 ER visits for the month of April. That was above the current month. Mr. Hellinger added that this was an all-time high for April. Acute admissions for the month, total of 111, just missing the target for the budget of 114, and it was the 5th consecutive month for growth in admissions. Observations total 64, that was over budget. Outpatient visits total 6,608, that was 7% over budget. So we seem to be getting, we started the year off a little bit slow as far as getting visits from some of these places, but it seems to be picking up and getting more in line with the budget. The volume in the clinics is getting better. Kathy was instrumental in putting a new program in for computer scheduling, and that seems to be working better. They can schedule, I believe it's up to 22 or 23 patients a day now, so that accounts for if they get a no-show or 2, they've overscheduled a little bit to count for that. Director of Facilities has submitted an energy retrofit project, National Grid. That goes through, it'll replace all the lamps in the main campus as well as the satellite clinics, and National Grid will refund 50% of the cost of that. And Margaret Grant, social worker, was the employee for the month of April. That's the end of my report, barring questions.
Dick, the 5.5 million you referred to starting in 17, is that 5.5 million a year or 5.5 over 5 years?
Over 5.
A million a year?
Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions for Dick? Thank you, Dick. Andrea, Public Health, Community Service.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's 2 resolutions in your packet tonight for public health. Public health will be employing a career here student this summer. The first quarter Board of Health corporate compliance and quarterly assurance reports were presented and reviewed by the committee. These reports will be forwarded to the full board. Penny introduced Megan Krieger to the committee. Megan has been hired as the public health specialist to work primarily in chronic disease programs and to coordinate implementation of the Community Health Improvement Plan. She resides in Constableville. And for the community services and staff has been relocated to Suite E at the Commons Building on South State Street, and they are still getting settled in. Mountain View Prevention Services is hosting a speaker on heroin abuse on Wednesday, June 8th at South Louis Central School Auditorium at 7 p.m. This is free to the public. Mountain View Prevention Services will host another event on June 16th, 7 p.m. at Beaver River School. Office of the Mental Health and the Suicide Prevention Center of New York State is hosting a Suicide Coalition strategic planning session on June 14th at the Copenhagen Fire Hall. we will be joined by members of the Jefferson County Coalition. The Lewis County Suicide Coalition BOCES students held the Lighting Up the Dark walk, run on Saturday, May 14th at Lewis County Fairgrounds. This was well attended despite the weather. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. County Manager report, Liz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, we are 4 months into our Munis Tyler financial systems cutover. We are on schedule for cutting over our financials in the end of October, the beginning of November. We had hoped to start our payroll piece in the end of August. We're having some scheduling difficulties, so that one's a little bit in flux right now. It may seem early to talk about it, but Patty and I have initiated conversations and emails with the department heads to get the 2017 budget rolling. I think I advised you last month that we're going to need to accelerate it because we've got the same people on the Munis team as we do on the working the budgets, so we're trying to space those out to accommodate everybody not going nuts. The preliminary schedule right now, we will still be approving the preliminary budget in November. We're just going to try to get it done and get all the reviews and as much as we can done early. Right now, the schedule is we'll start with headcount and our .4 accounts, which are the incidentals. Those will be due back to Patty and me by the end of the first week of July. And then July and August, the department heads will have till September 2nd to complete the remaining parts of their budget. So we hope to have a roll-up thinking towards the first week of September. Obviously, we won't have that completed because there's some numbers that we don't get until October, late October time period, namely the New York State retirement number. So we're going to try and do as best we can to pull as much of this together as we can early in the process. So we'll keep you informed of that and certainly give you the opportunity to weigh in. Just to kind of frame what we're headed into this year, our tax cap, as Phil mentioned earlier, we'll be lucky if it's in the 35,000 range, which is obviously going to be a challenge because we do have our increase in wages for our contractual increase in wages for our CSEA contract. We have a new union contract being negotiated for the road patrol. We have the DA salary increase, which is an unfunded state mandate at this point. Expect increases in insurance. We know we've got some increases in senior meals. I can say with high degree of certainty that I'm quite sure we will be having to increase premiums to some degree next year for health care. And we know we have increases in things like salt and snow plowing. So there's a lot of things that are working against us. We'll certainly give it our best effort to see what we can do to come in under the tax cap. I've been having some discussions with the Ways and Means Committee over the last several months. We have several larger projects that we've talked about from time to time, and I think it's time that we get together, the full board, to discuss several of them. The facility solutions, obviously, we've got the DMV issue, we've got a potential education facility, maybe a new office building, maybe something with the highway garage. These are all substantial projects and they're all probably multi-year. So I'm going to suggest that I'll find a time when we can get together specifically to educate everybody about what we've got, what the options might be, certainly have everybody air their concerns and ideas about that. So Tom, your comment was very fitting for this evening. But I think they're big enough and they're long enough, and instead of kind of stumbling into these, it would probably be better if we can work on a more comprehensive and educated plan going forward. And then the last thing I wanted to mention, I'm going to ask Jim to step in here. I think maybe you're aware that we have done probably 5 or 6 supervisory training classes now with SciTech. If you recall, you set aside $20,000 in the budget for this year, and we hired a company called SciTech, who we've worked with before, to come in, and I think we've hit, I'll say, the majority of our supervisors. We have some people we're going to catch in the next round, but I can tell you the feedback I've gotten from the department heads and supervisors has been just superb. I hope if you ask anybody who's been to it, I think the quality of the instructor we've got, Jim put together a very nice curriculum. It's been very well received. I believe the department heads have appreciated it, and I think we're starting on that path towards getting a consistency in what we consider to be good supervisory training for our staff. So thank you for that. And that's it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Liz. Patty, treasurer's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll just give you a rundown of the balances. Special legislative contingency is at $250,000. Contingency, regular contingency is at $475,000. Capital data processing is at $130,072. Capital equipment for highway is at $137,213. The county capital equipment is at $242,866. Sales tax today is at $2,837,998, which is approximately 3% behind last year. Hospital balance, as Dick said, is at $3.1 million, so they are on schedule. And the internal service fund balance is at $751,000. April was again a very bad month for claims.
And Patty, that
Yes,
751 is what we would like to see, 3.5 to 4 million.
absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Chairman.
Patty. Any other questions for Patty? Okay. For my report, Fred Brennan and myself attended Albany May 10th. We joined forces with the Alliance for Clean Energy. I think we were very well received by several assemblymen, senators. They all were thrilled to hear us tell about how all these projects affect Lewis County. You know, they like to hear it from the people that are paying taxes as well as the people that are doing these projects. So I think it was very successful that we attended there. May 26th, Terry and myself attended the inter-county meeting in Little Falls, and we toured the Feldmeyer equipment plant. There's about 200 employees there, and they were quick to point out to us that they got a large order from Kraft. They're building 6 tanks there, stainless steel tanks. It's a family-owned business. Very interesting to me. Also, these meetings that we attend, our minutes are available on them. So if you have any interest in what went on, Terry has been taking very thorough and excellent minutes. So you can just ask for them. We had a resignation from our ethics board. We have 3 members on, but 1 resigned. Tom is a member on it, but Bart Plescott's resigned. So if you've got any suggestions of who you'd like to see on there, feel free to contact me so we can make an appointment. This morning I attended a ceremony in Thompson Park that we did the time capsule. It was a very nice ceremony and well attended. Next week there's a Energy Expo at SUNY Poly in Utica. It's the host of this seminar is ANCA, which we are a member. So they sent me notice that they would like Lewis County to have some representation. I know I could make it for one of the days. It's actually 3 days. If anyone has any interest in that, I can give them more details. So let me know. Also this weekend, Friday, is the REDC meeting in Potsdam, so I plan on attending that. And I believe that's it for my report. If there are any questions, Nick?
Mike, because we're not going to meet before the 1st of July, the 1st of July is that monument unveiling in Watertown. time you might want to mention.
That's a good point, Dick. Today was the ceremony just for the time capsules, but the official unveiling of the monument is July 1st, and it is a beautiful monument. It wasn't quite completed, but it looks impressive just the way it is, and I expect that'll be a very welcome ceremony as well.
They're going to tie that in with their concert in the park this year. If you've never attended that, even people out in the gallery, it's a wonderful thing. They have a band, 6 o'clock or so in the evening till dark. Then they have one of the best fireworks display shows I've ever seen. And it's a family gathering. It's a really nice thing.
Thank you, Dick. Other comments? Okay, I believe we can move on. We have our public hearing still open for comments on additions to our ATV trail system. Were there any other comments at this time? Okay, I'll announce that be closed. We go on to our Ways and Means report. Terry?
The Ways and Means Committee reports they've examined the claims presented for payment in the total amount of $1,112,925.80 and recommend that they be audited and allow for the amounts claimed. Signed by the entire committee.
Moved by Brian, second by Phil. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolutions?
Resolution to, for the total, to approve the allowing the claims in an amount of $1,112,925.80.
Moved by Brian, second by Larry. Roll call, please, Terry.
Brennan?
Yes.
Chartran?
Yes.
Stahlhoff?
Yes.
Hathaway?
Yes.
King?
Yes.
Colzer?
Yes.
Mowerhand?
Yes.
Moser?
Yes.
Fawcett?
Yes.
Tabo.
Yes.
Regarding seek or review to add a new trail to the Lewis County ATV trail system and declaring no significant impact for the Lee Golf Trail properties.
Moved by Larry, second by Craig. Discussion? All in favor of the resolution say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Fixing date of public hearing on an addition to the ATV trail system, Lee Golf Trails.
Moved by Larry, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Regarding seek or review to add a new trail to the Lewis County ATV system and declaring no significant impact, Great Lot Sportsman's Club property.
Moved by Larry, second by Craig. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Regarding seek or review to add a new trail to the Lewis County ATV system, declaring no significant impact for the grower property.
Moved by Craig, moved by Larry, second by Craig. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Regarding seek or review to add a new trail to the ATV system and declaring no significant impact, Lewis County properties.
Moved by Larry, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Regarding seek or review to add a new trail to the Lewis County ATV system, declaring no significant impact, Tuck Hill properties.
Moved by Brian, second by Phil. I saw that hand go up. Discussion? Greg.
Yeah, I still have a question on this letter.
Go ahead.
So we're gonna have some cost here. We're gonna have a couple days of maintenance or whatever, maybe a week even, who knows how long it's gonna take. And this property is directly affects a business across the way from it that doesn't seem to keep up with their bed tax very well. I'm just like, you think that maybe this person can speak to the owner of the property that's not paying his bed tax, or is this gonna directly affect his business, increase his business more than likely?
I'm not sure how to answer your question because the landowner that owns this piece of property does not own the business across the road. So,
I think they're, but I do believe they're probably pretty close, about, put it that way.
so you're asking that the landowner
Maybe.
request that the business owner pay his business tax? That tax?
We're gonna be putting county money into it, and this, the county, the business across, right?
You're not putting county money in it.
What money are we putting into
You're
it?
putting in ATV permit money.
That's what's paying the employees?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're,
Okay, let's go a little bit further into that. So the ATP permit fees pays the benefit package also on the employees? They're gonna be
They're all seasonal part-time.
all seasonal? Okay. Okay. Well, I'm just saying that, I just see this as being a, kind of like giving a benefit to somebody who's not keeping up with his taxes, his bed tax revenue, which is directly affects, the tourism part of this.
So you're
Mr. Chairman, can I,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, can I
Yes, go ahead, Joe.
suggest that I'll follow up legally and see what we can do to have him comply with his obligation.
Well, it seems like that's constant with that
What?
particular individual.
We'll try to stay on for my office.
the only thing I can offer is that it does receive a high amount of use and is probably beneficial to our overall trail.
Yeah, so it's a high overall thing for him too, is what you're saying too, right?
I can't comment on that, I don't know.
Other comments on the resolution? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing opening of certain portions of county roads for ATV special events.
Moved by Craig, second by Jerry. Discussion? Dick?
Yeah, Joan, does this follow the same process we've done with everybody else?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Other comments? All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appropriate funds, capital building maintenance and repair.
Moved by Phil, second by Brian. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appropriate and unappropriate funds for community services.
Moved by Jerry, second by Andrea. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing amended agreement between Oneida Lewis Chapter, NISARC, and Lewis County Community Services.
Moved by Rocky, second by Andrea. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To transfer funds, county clerk.
Moved by Dick, second by Jerry. Discussion? Craig?
Quick question, Phil, what is the pistol supply?
Linda got an indication from her supplier that our ribbons for the pistol photos might not be available, they might be phased out. So she wanted to purchase some more to last at least another year. And she needed more money to do it. She switched it within her budgets, but it was kind of a hedge against having to buy a new camera and that type of thing at this point.
That just confused me. Pistol, I didn't get the correlation. Ribbons would have worked. I would have figured that out.
The pistol pictures, I
Thank
should
you.
say.
Other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appropriate,
selling pistols.
You never know.
Profitable business, Craig.
That's a good point.
Go ahead, Jerry.
to appropriate funds, Office for the Aging.
Moved by Rocky, second by Brian. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To transfer funds, Office for Aging.
Moved by Dick, second by Andrea. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To transfer funds, Public Health.
Moved by Jerry, seconded by Rocky. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between Jefferson Lewis Workforce Development Area, Pratt Northam Careers Here Program, and Public Health.
Moved by Andrea, second by Jerry. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between Public Health and Oswego County Opportunities.
Moved by Brian, second by Andrea. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing amendment to the agreement between the county and EF Johnson Technologies to add mutual and VHF voice channel for the emergency 911 radio system.
Moved by Phil, second by Larry. Discussion. Larry.
Is this something we should be moving into until we get the, you know, should we work on the current problems first before we move on to another scenario?
Well, I think we're definitely going to get them, but on the same aspect, while they're climbing, they ought to put the antennas and stuff up that needs to go on the safest of time. I mean, they're going to get it, the system, I guarantee, I'm positive of that.
I also think it's solving a different technology problem. This is solving the interoperability issues that we have with our neighboring counties.
Jerry, is this something we anticipated up front or did not anticipate up front? I know we talked about way back, we talked about intercommunicability with other counties, and I thought we addressed all that with this coalition, and now we're going to have $250,000 that we're going to spend or somewhere in that neighborhood to do it?
Well, some of the big problems is we thought everybody would be moving into the new systems, including us, Jefferson County, St. Lawrence. And what we're finding out, it's going to take quite a few of these people extra time and stuff to get into it, if at all. And one of the problems is the neighboring counties we have, if they don't go to it in a timely fashion, they can't communicate, like Sheriff's Department, state police coming in from an area that they're not on the UFH system. So instead of us having to buy more expensive radios and by putting another 200,000 with what some of the 100,000 we have setting in the towers already, we can bring this system up and running. So it's an interoperable, anybody who comes in is going to be able to talk, where now they're not.
Okay, not to belabor it, but if I recall correctly, there was something in Onondaga County that we bought into way back when that was going to make us interoperative with all agencies within and outside the state of New York. And I thought that was part of why we went with this system.
All outside agencies, if they go with the UFH system, but state police was supposed to pick that part up, the interoperability, and when it come time for us to build it out, they didn't have the money, so we didn't build it out. And until they come up with the money, that's not going to happen, because we do not need that part and that yearly cost of $187,000 a year going to the county taxpayers. This system, when it's up and running, will function well for Lewis County and people that come in with, if they have the UFH system, not the VFH.
So just to explore all possibilities. If we maintain the system, the radios that we currently have in the vehicles, in the emergency vehicles, are they communicable with the agencies that we're talking about, that we're trying to reach? And could that be a stopgap until such time as the others come on board? I don't know.
First, you got to have the towers to be able to communicate from vehicle to vehicle, and right now, that's our weak link. We don't have the towers and antennas to, you know how it works, hitting one tower and carrying it north or wherever you need to go. So, I mean, we did have this, we have saved it, it's budget neutral. So I think it's a good thing to move forward if we can. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Will this VHF do a thing to help pagers reception now? Nothing.
No,
This is
I mean,
mutual aid.
yeah, this is mutual aid for in-house if somebody's gotta work with somebody. No, the pagers is, you know, I mean, what's happened is they haven't got everything tuned the way it should have been. And I'll take credit for it, you know, we didn't pass the coverage testing, so we're a little bit lax on how quick or how hard we hammered on E.F. Johnson to get the thing taken care of. And I mean, we're at the point now, we got coverage testing coming up in July, August. They need to get their act together. So it's been a combination of both. There's no reason with adjustments and E.F. Johnson doing what we should have had them do a long time ago, that this system, a lot of this crap will go away, if not all of it. So, I mean, I'll raise my hand, blame me for taking so long, because I haven't jumped up and raised, put it bluntly, hell on a continuous basis.
I don't know if any of us are looking to lay blame on it, but if you could finance it, it'd be nice.
That'll be a cold day. But no, I mean, I'm ultimately responsible as far as making sure things go and keep up with you guys and keep going for them. And, you know, I mean, I guess I didn't push hard enough, or it would have been corrected hopefully, you know, but I'm positive they can do it. If not, you know, I'm still responsible for it. So, thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments regarding the resolution? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Jerry, how long will this take to get in? What are they thinking of?
As far as getting this up and running,
Yeah.
I have not heard back. I put the request in to see what the time frame would be.
Okay.
But right now, I can't tell you. I'll let everybody know when they give us a date.
Yep, thanks.
Authorizing an agreement between Real Property Tax and Systems Development Group for Image Made Online Real Property and Assessment Web Portal.
Moved by Larry, second by Craig. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Approving agreement between National Grid Smart Watt Energy.
Moved by Brian, second by Rocky. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing an agreement between Barkeeter Events LLC and Recreation, Forestry, and Parks.
Moved by Larry, second by Rocky. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between Jeff Lewis Workforce Development Area, Pratt Northern Careers Here, and Recreation, Forestry, and Parks.
Moved by Craig, second by Jerry. Discussion? And Larry.
Offer a motion to amend section 1 to authorize a second intern and section 2 for the term to begin on June 13th, 2016.
June 13th?
Yes.
Okay, motion by Larry to amend. Is there a second? Second by Rocky. Discussion to the amendment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The amendment is carried. Any discussion, further discussion on the resolution as amended?
The ending date stays the same.
Yes.
The ending date
Yes.
stays the same, right?
Yes,
Jack?
yes.
Any other comments, questions? All in favor of the amended resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Appropriate funds, Sheriff's Department.
Moved by Brian, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Appropriate funds, Sheriff's Department.
Moved by Brian, second by Larry. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement with Siemens Industry for the 911 center.
Moved by Rocky, second by Phil. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To adjust funds, social services.
Moved by Brian, second by Rocky, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appropriate funds, social services.
Moved by Dick, second by Jerry, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Waiving fee charged to DSS for inspection of foster homes.
Moved by Craig, second by Rocky, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing amendment to power purchase agreement with Green Skies Renewable Energy.
Moved by Larry, second by Jerry, discussion. Bill?
Let me just recap. We all know what has been going on with the blocks and all that kind of stuff. So let me just recap where we're at from where we started. Originally, and this is gross, that we take the connection cost off of that, whatever it might be. Originally, we thought we were gonna save $3,300,000. Now, we are gonna be saving $2,800,000. So basically, we lost 14% in the process. Now, that's with the guarantee. If they make what they anticipate of production, we would be getting a savings of $3,173,000. We would still show a loss of $135,000, which is 4%, and that would be over 20 years. So we still lost, but that's the result of it. The controller's report had a kind of an interesting sidelight in there this past time. They did an audit in a neighboring county with a neighboring major town that did 2 solar systems, and they brought it up because those people did not competitively bid, so they got criticized by the controller's office. And interestingly enough, they had done 2 arrays, and one of them they had to pay 9 cents for the PPA, and another one was 9.5 cents, and they just negotiated them and didn't bid them. And this was like a year and a half ago when they should have been able to get the good rates. So that was kind of a comparison. When Joan and I were talking about it, she said that our other people, other counties that she had talked to about this, and don't let me put words in your mouth, Joan, but their rates were comparable to these 9-cent rates. So I guess I'm saying we turned out okay, and we certainly are not going to get criticized for not bidding it right, because we did it 3.5 times. So but I just wanted to be open and honest about it. Through the whole process, we did have a guaranteed loss a loss with our guarantee of $452,000, which would be spread over the 20 years. I just wanted everybody to know that.
Dick?
Joan, will this action then allow them to start, we got more to do before they can start construction?
We really have to wait for National Grid for the interconnect, so they know, but they have their engineers working on the final design plans and all, and, you know, I don't know when they'll be up and ready to start putting in the arrays, but I think it's all subject to when they get that final approval with National Grid.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To create and appropriate funds, student worker program.
Moved by Jerry, second by Rocky. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing an agreement with EFPR Group CPA regarding the New York State Department of Transportation single audit.
Moved by Phil, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement with the same group for auditing services for the county.
Moved by Phil, second by Brian. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Amending the compensation plan with reference to weights and measures.
Moved by Jerry, second by Brian. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Urging Governor Cuomo and state legislature to fully reimburse municipal self-insured workers' compensation plans.
Moved by Larry, second by Craig. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Appointing members to Youth Bureau Advisory Board.
Moved by Andrea, second by Phil. Discussion?
Phil, you thought you were scratching.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Late Resolution 242, authorizing an agreement with New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Management.
Moved by Jerry, second by Brian. Jerry, what's this? 4?
What essentially has happened when they put the packet before, they didn't spread it out who was supposed to receive what, and this is just telling what goes where from this agreement. Like the sheriff, I think it's $15,000 and then $30,000 for emergency services. And it's all lumped into one before.
Other questions or comments? All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
43 is authorizing grant application with Division of Homeland Security with the Emergency Management and Sheriff's Department.
Moved by Jerry, second by Larry. Discussion? All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Move resolution.
Other business. Phil?
Real quickly, Mr. Chairman, this is something I brought up before, and I just kind of want to bring it up again. It's mainly just food for thought. If we do engage in another wind pilot, I would suggest and propose that we consider giving X% of that pilot to towns that receive no funds from any existing pilot or the one that we would be acting on. And whatever the balance of that would be, I would suggest that we dedicate that to economic development on an ongoing basis. We'd have to do that by resolution every year, of course, but I just wanted to at least get people thinking about sharing with the other towns and dedicating the funds to economic development.
Thank you, Phil. Other business? I could add that we talked about going to other communities for our meetings for the next few months. I haven't had any requests. However, later this fall, there's a few. Among them, Constable Hall put in a specific request to see if we could come up there in September.
Great.
So I guess they believe it fit their schedule very well. We agreed that they'd keep the building facilities open for an extra day to accommodate us. So that's the tentative plan for September. Okay, other business, Dick.
Bill, Phil, sorry, Phil. I am too, Mike. I think going out there is great, but one thing I noticed in Lions Falls, if we could have more room for more public people from the area, I mean, that's why we're going out there, to involve more of the community so they get a chance to see our thing. And I have no idea what the rooms look like up there, but if we could just have enough room, I think everybody that went to Lions Falls kind of understands what I'm saying, because we could have used a little more room for more public people.
You know, Rocky,
The building that they're proposing, they tell me, I was on the board, not anymore, but they said they can accommodate 50 people. So I think will be okay.
Yeah, no, it sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
other business. Greg, did you request executive session for the purpose of
The purpose would be to discuss the proposed potential sale or exchange of properties.
Okay, we've got a motion by Greg. Is there a second to go into executive session? Dick, seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are in executive session. We need a recess.
5 minutes.
5-minute recess.
You gotta get all that.